Hello friends, welcome to my channel Recap Stories. Today, we'll be discussing an intriguing film. The film starts with a scene of a village where a farmer, along with his sheep and goats, goes to a lakeside to catch fish. It's raining, and the farmer's neighbor is busy catching frogs. Suddenly, they see a large egg with a creature moving inside. Frightened by this sight, they both become anxious, unaware that a massive monster is approaching them. The monster suddenly emerges from the water, roaring at them. Startled, everyone begins to scream in fear. The farmer's wife, hearing the screams, rushes to the scene but only finds her husband's coat. From this, we infer that the monster killed and devoured everyone. The incident is reported to the police, prompting Detective James and his team to arrive at the scene. Upon examining the bodies and noticing the wound marks, James deduces that this was the work of a massive and dangerous monster. Next, we see a young girl, May, strolling by the lake with her brother. She notices a large footprint on the ground but ignores it. Then, she spots a big egg and brings it home. Her brother is delighted to see the egg and begins preparing to cook it. However, their older sister stops them, cautioning that it might be a monster's egg. Angry, May takes the egg to the lake, where she sits waiting for the creature to emerge. She has no idea that she is sitting dangerously close to a massive threat. Soon, the monster comes out of the lake, devouring animals on its way toward May. When May doesn't return home for a while, her brother and sister set out to look for her. By the lakeside, they find her shoe floating in the water, which makes her sister start crying. Her brother also realizes the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, the monster emerges from the water and attacks May's brother, who barely manages to escape. Both siblings start running, but the monster chases them and eventually reaches the fields, attacking the farmers there. With its incredible speed, it kills them one by one. In the end, May and her brother hide in the bushes to save their lives. When they get the chance, May takes her brother toward the road, where they find a passing vehicle and manage to escape. This is how they survive the monster's attack, but little do they know that this destruction has only just begun. The monster heads toward the nearby city to unleash more havoc. May takes her injured brother to the hospital, where doctors treat his wounds. The police also learn of the attack and plan to pursue the monster. They discover that there are two survivors, Lynn and her brother, who can provide insights into the event. So, the police captain questions Lynn, who describes the monster that emerged from the lake and ruthlessly killed all the farmers. The captain ignores Lynn's words and proceeds back to the police station. However, he is unaware that, meanwhile, the monster has already attacked a center, killing all the people inside. Soon, the captain receives news of the incident. He rushes to the center, but by the time he arrives, it's too late, as only corpses remain, and no one survived. Observing the condition of the bodies, the captain becomes convinced that the monster caused this destruction. He starts planning with his team to kill the monster, and they realize that it returns to the lake because it uses it as a hideout. Now, the captain divides his team into separate groups, with Detective James leading one of them. Their plan is to figure out how to capture the monster. However, James suddenly learns he has to go to his daughter's school, as she is a rebellious girl who frequently gets into fights there, leading the principal to summon him. Apologizing to the principal, he takes his daughter along and resumes the pursuit of the monster. Meanwhile, Lynn is looking after her brother in the hospital, where he has a terrifying nightmare in which he is fighting the monster. When he wakes up, he realizes that his ability to speak has been affected by the monster's attack. Lynn notices her brother's behavior changing and sees a strange fluid leaking from his body, the same substance observed on the monster's egg. During this time, Lynn's brother has mentally connected with the monster and begins sensing its movements. As the monster attacks people, Lynn's brother sees it all through the monster's eyes. He quickly deduces its location and writes it down on a piece of paper, which helps Lynn discover the monster's whereabouts. Lynn immediately rushes to the police captain, shows him the paper, and tells him that her brother can lead them to the monster. The captain takes Lynn's brother with him and sets out to track the monster. Lynn's brother points out the monster's location, and the police force attacks it to restrain it. However, the monster, wounded and enraged, retaliates and attacks the police. Nevertheless, the officers encircle it, assault it with weapons, and finally manage to trap it in a net. Meanwhile, Lynn notices that as the monster gets injured, her brother also feels pain. She informs the captain that her brother is somehow connected to the monster and will die if the monster is killed. Hearing this, the captain locks the monster in his vehicle to keep it alive, while the rest of the force monitors it closely. However, some people insist on killing the monster, which endangers Lynn's brother's life. During this time, Detective James uncovers the presence of another large egg. Upon seeing a massive footprint, they all realize that it belongs to the lake monster. This monster is still underwater, as the footprint is quite large. The monster wreaking havoc in the city has a smaller footprint in comparison. James becomes certain there is more than one monster. Suddenly, they receive news that a survivor of the monster's attack remains, and it turns out to be Lynn. James is astonished that Lynn managed to survive for so long in front of the monster. She even possesses the monster's egg, which she took with her while escaping. James rushes back to his car and notices something terrifying in the lake. It is the same large lake monster whose footprints they had seen earlier, and the monster destroying the city as its companion. As soon as the team spots it, they start firing at it. Hearing the gunfire, James arrives, but by that time, no one remains alive. Blood stains covered the vehicles, indicating that the giant monster had killed everyone. James spotted an officer hiding in a car, trying to save himself. Suddenly, the giant monster reappeared, looking more dangerous than ever. James immediately instructed his daughter over the radio to hide inside the vehicle. She noticed the egg shaking, and as soon as the lake monster saw the egg, it angrily approached the car. Terrified, James's daughter started screaming, but Lynn tried to calm her. The monster began ramming the car, attempting to retrieve its egg. Concerned for his daughter, James shot at the gas tank to distract the monster, creating a loud explosion, but it caused no harm to the monster. The surviving officer stepped forward to assist James and pulled the gas tank out of the car. However, as the monster attempted to retrieve its egg, James's daughter exited the vehicle and tried to run away. The monster spotted her, attacked, and gravely injured her. James immediately rushed to help his daughter, firing at the gas tank again, but the monster remained unharmed. It left James and started heading towards the city, where its companion was in police custody. James took his daughter to the hospital, but her condition worsened, and she did not survive. Meanwhile, the police captain was trying to convince people not to kill the monster, unaware that a massive giant monster was advancing toward them. This monster destroyed everything in its path, heading forward to save its companion. The monster began moving toward buses filled with people but passed by without causing harm. Observing this, everyone realized that the monster's real target was the police captain because they had captured its companion. The captain realized his mistake in capturing something he shouldn't have. He ordered his team to leave the creature's vehicle and move far away, as the lake monster was approaching. Others also got into their vehicles and left to save their lives, but Lynn's brother felt he was infected and might pose a threat to others. Deciding not to endanger anyone, he separated himself from the group. Although Lynn tried to stop him, he bid her farewell and entered the creature's vehicle. To save people, Lynn's brother drove the creature's vehicle out of the city, hoping the lake monster would follow and spare others. By morning, the survivors returned, and Lynn reunited with them. She wept over her brother's sacrifice. James, too, wanted revenge on the monster that caused his daughter's death, but the police captain ordered the case to remain closed to prevent further danger. James resigned from his job, intending to seek revenge. Meanwhile, Lynn's brother and the creature disappeared. 5 years later, I encountered the monster at that place. When James arrived, he noticed that the lake monster sensed my presence but did not harm me. James suspected that I had some connection to the monster. The monster started attacking James, but he survived and decided to learn the truth about the monster rather than seek revenge. James found a temple where people were worshipping the lake monster. As he turned around, he saw the lake monster waiting for him. He realized that the monster did not harm those who loved it but never spared anyone who attempted to harm it. We kindly request you to help us reach 10,000 subscribers on our channel soon. We hope you all enjoy this video and will like it. Please subscribe to our channel and thank you for your loving comments. See you in the next video.